Alcohol and Tobacco, Francisco R. Ontiveros III, 2/5, 2024. Alcohol. Alcohol is an intoxicating ingredient in fermented or distilled beverages. Alcohol has been one of the most prominent psychoactive drugs in American history. It has survived many prohibitions and is still very much a part of everyday life for most people. In moderation, alcohol can make an individual relaxed and laid back, but excessive use can lead to aggression or loss of awareness. Tobacco. The leaves of cultivated tobacco plants prepared for smoking, chewing, or use as snuff. The main reason for tobacco's popularity is because of the psychoactive drug nicotine. There has been many experiments that have proved that nicotine is an extremely addictive drug. Effects on the human body. Certain individuals can build up a tolerance to alcohol and tobacco, leading to the user having to buy more of the product to acquire the high. Wood alcohol and rubbing alcohol, if consumed, can lead to serious illness and possibly death. The aftermath of alcohol mostly leads to alcohol hangovers, which can be very serious since your body is trying to recover from the excessive alcohol consumption. The body is likely dehydrated and heart rate and blood pressure increased, which leaves you more vulnerable to health issues. Alcohol poisoning Alcohol poisoning is another harmful consequence of overdrinking, responsible for more toxic overdose deaths than any other drug. Causes of death are from poisoning in the central nervous system and respiratory depression. Another result of death can be from fluid or vomit in the lungs. Although an individual stops drinking, alcohol levels continue to rise, causing a dangerous amount of BAC, blood alcohol content, and ingesting alcohol into the bloodstream. Alcohol-related injuries and deaths. Alcohol does not allow the human body to operate in a safe manner when doing everyday activities. When past a certain point, an individual loses their impaired motor coordination, impaired judgment, and more violent and less understanding. Alcohol also is a main factor in the uprise of suicides, which in which alcohol does not allow them to think about the consequences of such a tragic decision. Certain studies have showed that over 420,000 participants said that alcohol is an important predicator of suicide. Drinking and driving. When drivers drink and drive, they don't put themselves in harm's way, but they bring on or everyone on the road into the equation. It is a selfish act for someone to do, but sometimes the individual believes they aren't that drunk, which might be the case, but even just a small amount of alcohol can affect your reaction time. Driving skills Driving skills can also be affected with just a BSC of 0.02% and lower. In 2018, 10,511 Americans were killed in accidents involving drunk driving. Long-term effects and short-term effects. Immediate effects. The central nervous system has impaired reaction time and motor coordination, impaired judgment, and sedation, coma, and death at high BACs. Senses. Less acute vision, smell, taste, and hearing. The stomach has nausea, inflammation, and bleeding. The skin, flushing, sweating, heat loss, and hypothermia, formation of broken capillaries. Sexual functioning. In men, reduced erection response. Effects of chronic use. The brain is damaged/destroyed, brain cells, impaired memory, loss of sensation in limbs, brain atrophy. The cardiovascular system has weakened cardiac muscle, elevated blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, and increased risk of stroke. Breast, increased risk of breast cancer, immune system, lowered resistance, lowered resistance to disease, digestive system, cirrhosis of the liver, hepatitis, inflammation of stomach and pancreas, increased risk of cancers of the lip, mouth, larynx, esophagus, liver, rectum, stomach, and pancreas. Kidney failure associated with end-stage liver disease. Nutrition deficiencies, obesity. Reproductive system. In women, menstrual irregularities and increased risk of having children with fetal alcohol syndrome, FAS. In men, impotence and impaired sperm production. Bone, increased risk of osteoporosis, increased risk of fractures from frequent falls. The dangers of tobacco. It results in many health problems and financial loss. Many health problems come from chronic tobacco use, such as cancer and emphysema. Immediate effects include dizziness, fatigue, vomiting, and diarrhea. It accelerates the heart rate and blood pressure, and smoking takes away an individual's hunger sensations and dulls the taste buds. Immediate effects: the brain releasing of sedating and stimulating chemicals, the skin constriction of blood vessels reducing blood flow to the skin, increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure. Lungs: impaired delivery of oxygen to the lungs, smoke absorbed into bloodstream and carried throughout the body. The liver: glycogen converted to glucose and released into bloodstream, raising blood sugar level. Adrenal glands: adrenaline release causing stimulation throughout the body and reducing temperature in extremities. Kidneys: urine production inhibited. Digestive system: depressed appetite and hunger contractions. Reproductive system: in pregnant woman, passage of nicotine and chemicals to fetus. The long-term health risks. The brain: increased risk of stroke and brain aneurysm. The skin: excess wrinkling, mouth and nose, irritation of mucous membranes, dull taste buds and sense of smell, and stained teeth. The heart: increased risk of CVD. Lungs: increased mucus production causing smoker's cough, damaged cilia and airways, allowing particles in smoke to reach lungs. Tar collected in lungs, creating conditions conducive to cancer. Increased risk of emphysema, bronchitis, asthma, and lung cancer. The bones: increased risk of osteoporosis, digestive system: increased risk of stomach ulcers, cancers of the digestive tract. Reproductive system: reduced fertility, increased risk of erectile dysfunction, increased risk of cervical cancer. In conclusion, both tobacco and alcohol are not good for the human body. They offer more negative than positive and are usually used for a quick high. In moderation, it can be sustainable, but it is best to combat the desire.